Hey Aries, welcome to your Villain Era reading, where we're going to take a look at a life occurrence that's happened to you that sort of fundamentally changed who you are and how you move through life. So we're going to jump in and start by taking a look at the energy that's surrounding this reading for you. And the first card out that we have for you is All That Glitters. Let's pull another and see what other energies are surrounding my Aries collective. What else is happening with my Aries? And what we have is solace, bodies of water. Spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or the ocean, to recharge your batteries. All right, so for my Aries out there, it does feel like this is a little bit of a warning that you might need to sort of ground yourself. It almost feels as though there's been a lot of time and energy that's been spent chasing things that look shiny and pretty and nice. But if you really sort of stop to think about it, it's like, is this really good for me? Is this really truly what I want? Is this too good to be true? And that's not saying that there aren't amazing things that are out there waiting for you, but it's kind of like, is this worth the price of admission? Like, it's almost like I just heard selling your soul. And so it's like, do you want to give up who you are or what it is that you truly want for this, shiny little bauble that's dangling in front of you right now? So it feels like this is now a time for you to kind of just sit and center yourself, to get your grounding. And especially with bodies of water, it's always this sort of sense of peace. There's this sense of flow. And for those of you out there who's like, have you ever seen the ocean in a thunderstorm? Yeah, it can be a little bit rough. But on most days, on any given days, there's sort of an ebb and flow to it, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of energy around here that says you need to sort of just flow with things instead of getting super, super hyped up about, things that look nice on the surface, but underneath maybe a little bit rotten. There's an opportunity for you here to be able to see things clearly and not be enticed by things that may not necessarily be good for you right now. So I do feel like there's a little bit of a back and forth. It's like, oh, I want that. I want that. That's so pretty. That's so nice. And then like there's this little angel on your shoulder saying, maybe reconsider. Like take a beat, take a pause, sit down and think about it. Come at it from a more grounded perspective, and you might see things a little bit differently. So let's get into some cards and see what other energies are surrounding my Aries collective. So we're going to start with what happened and how did you get to this place of needing grounding and maybe reevaluating the things that you had your eye on. We have the Six of Pentacles to start. Now, the Six of Pentacles is really a card about a little bit of balance almost. It's having that equal give and take. But I think that also the Six of Pentacles in traditional tarot imagery is somebody who's sort of, piecemealing out their abundance, their generosity. And so I think that for a lot of my Aries out there was this sense that you were being given little crumbs here and there by somebody else, by the universe. But there's this just feeling of dissatisfaction, like I want more, I want more, I want more. Why am I not getting it? And so it almost feels as though that sense of lack may have led you to sort of look at these big, bright, shiny things and just say, yeah, I want that. That's mine. I should have that. And it's just, it wasn't for you. We have that clarified by the Ace of Cups. And so the Ace of Cups, especially in terms of emotions or feelings, could be relationships with other people, that this is a starting point. So I think that for a lot of my Aries out there was this very, very deep desire for this new beginning. And I do feel like, for many of you out there, this does have to do with your relationships, particularly romantic ones, where you may have been involved with someone, you may have been hopeful. It's like you have this idea of what you wanted in a person, And what you got was this sort of, crumbs, breadcrumbing. I think that's what it's called, where you were just being given a little bit at a time. This person was doling out affection, or they were doling out, material goods or whatever, but there just wasn't this sort of satisfaction and fulfillment that you were looking for. And I don't think it's because you went into it, sort of expecting something. I'm not getting like gold digger vibes or anything like that. But it's just like, well, I wanted more. I expected more. But there may have been some instances when your desire for more led you to someone who was kind of flashy and over the top, and they gave really good face. But underneath the surface, it's like, oh, wow, that did not live up to my expectations. And I feel like there was a pretty deep sense of disappointment that went along with that. So, how has this affected your life and your relationships? We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, clarified by the Four of Pentacles. There's a lot of instability right now. And the pentacles really typically represent material goods, abundance, those tangible physical things. And so for a lot of you out there, it may have been a situation where this person that you were involved with, perhaps you were sort of supporting them financially, or you were giving them things that they didn't necessarily return to you. And I think that for a lot of my Aries out there, it's even a situation where you were giving to the detriment of yourself. Like you would make sure that this person had everything that they needed, while you may have been struggling in some way, shape, or form. It's like, I'm going to give you $20, knowing that that only leaves me with $5. And I got bills to pay, and I'm hungry, and I got other things to do. But that's how strongly you felt about this person, that at some point there was going to be some level of reciprocity that came back to you. And so now, as a result, we have the Four of Pentacles, which is you holding back, which is you holding on very tightly. Like there's not a ton of openness that you have right now. I just got this sense of a very strong side eye that's coming from you. Like anybody that approaches you is like, oh hell no, I got mine. You're not getting this. You are not getting my coin. You're not getting anything from me, is what it feels like. And so I think that through this experience, it's closed you off significantly to other people, especially when it comes to romance. Now, as far as the lesson that you were meant to get from this, we have the Page of Cups. And I like this because pages are naive. They're apprentices. They're still learning. They're still very young. They're not equipped to just go like full in like a King of Cups would. And so I feel like the universe is trying to tell you a little something, Aries, and it's like tread lightly. There's no need to rush into anything. The Page of Cups, the pages in general, are really about learning. They're about collecting information, and we have that clarified by Temperance. Finding calm, finding balance, finding that equilibrium. It's a level of patience that comes. So instead of you maybe rushing into things that look really, really nice on the outside, Spirit is saying you need to take a little minute. Make sure that you're grounded, get your feet under you, make sure that you're in flow state, and collect all the information you can from the other person. There's no need to rush. This is your period of learning. When you meet somebody and you're starting to get to know them, don't rush. There's no need for you to rush. This is all about you getting sort of full disclosure, learning everything you can about the person so you can see them for who and what they truly are, and not give all of yourself to somebody who doesn't deserve it. Now, what is it that you can do to sort of adjust your behavior going forward so you don't end up in this closed off, ungrounded space again? We have the Three of Wands. So this card is very much a card of patience. It's about sort of standing and looking to see what's out in front of you, what's off in the distance, and being patient and waiting for that to come towards you. There's not a lot of action for me in the Three of Wands where, you're not rushing out to meet, anyone. It's like, no, you come to me. Show me what you have to offer. What is it that you're bringing to me? And we also have the Magician in reverse to clarify. So, where I think the Magician is typically viewed as a card of somebody who has everything that they need, it can also be a card of manipulation and, to a certain extent, deceit. And so I feel like for you, Aries, it's not so much that you were being deceitful. Rather, I think you have been, in certain instances, trying to force things that didn't fit. You're trying to manipulate and maneuver actions from someone that it's just not them. And so you're kind of contorting yourself to fit them, and you end up in not so great of a place. And so I think you sort of limiting yourself from doing that going forward is going to be incredibly helpful in making sure that you stay balanced and that you don't end up with the short end of the stick. Now, as far as challenges or obstacles that you might encounter, we have the World and we also have the Nine of Swords to clarify. Now, the World is not necessarily a bad card, right? It's a cycle of completion. It's sort of, the Fool being at the end of their journey and ready to start the process all over again. And so I think that it is going to take a little bit of time for you to sort of close this chapter and move on to the next one. And with the Nine of Swords, there's a little bit of fear, right? There's some anxiety, there's some stress. I think there's some sleepless nights when you're trying to process what has happened, what you've been through, the lessons that you should have gotten from this situation. It's not necessarily going to be the easiest journey in you sort of resetting yourself and your mindset and getting grounded and being willing to open up again. I think that there's some stress that's associated with moving past this. Not to say that you can't do it, but it's going to be a process for you. Now, what's going to happen after this? Let's say that you take the time, you go through this process, and you do your healing. We have the Ace of Swords and we have the Seven of Pentacles. I love this combination for you, Aries, because with the Ace of Swords, this is always my speaking truth to power card. And so I think that throughout the process of you recovering and healing and learning more about yourself and growing and sort of reshaping how it is that you approach other people in relationships, you're going to start finding your voice. And those things that aren't comfortable for you, those things that you're no longer willing to give, you're not going to have a problem articulating that. And you're not going to have an issue saying, no, you know what, that's not for me. And with the Seven of Pentacles, you're going to be in a place that's much more comfortable because the Seven of Pentacles is really about planting seeds and being patient and waiting for them to grow and waiting for them to blossom, waiting to see what they're going to do. And then you can harvest them if they're ready. So I think that coming out of this, you're going to be a lot stronger. You're going to be a lot smarter. You're not going to be in a place where you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. There's not going to be any more contorting for someone else's comfort. You're going to look out for yourself first. You're going to be much more patient. And I think that you're going to be a lot more strategic in figuring out where you plant your seeds, where you invest your time and your energy, and maybe for some of you, even your money. So things are looking up, Aries, even if it's a little bumpy road in the immediate future. So that's what I got for you guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.